Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
For the people who are saying they don't believe it, I invite you to take a tour of any of the COVID wards in the hospitals.
Bottom line, as the saying goes, physician, heal thyself. Because personally speaking, if Samantha practices medicine like she practices media relations, I think I'd rather go under the knife of Dr. Frankenstein than Dr. Hill. Hey folks, how many lies have the unelected, non-accountable health bureaucrats uttered in the name of Wuhan virus safety protocols, such as, quote, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, end quote. Yeah. Meanwhile, some 55 weeks later, oh, and how about, quote, we're all in this together, end quote. Yeah, if you're in the public sector, maybe then you haven't lost a single dollar in pay, nor have you been laid off a single day. But if you run, say, a retail store, and by that I mean not one of those privileged shops such as Costco or Walmart, well, you are likely phoning Premier Ford's Deco Labels company right now to order some new signs for your window display, such as, oh, I don't know, going out of business or store for sale. Yeah, we're all in this together. I think that chestnut has actually killed off the check is in the mail as the most flagrant lie ever uttered. But we have a new whopper courtesy of the health bureaucracy, and it comes via Dr. Samathan Hill, the president of the Ontario Medical Association. You see, last week, Dr. Hill was on CP24 admonishing any free thinkers and skeptics out there who, well, they're not so certain about this Wuhan virus being the second coming of the bubonic plague. Check out the question Dr. Hill is asked and the answer she gives.
So what do you say to those people, Dr. Hill, the ones who don't believe it, or they just say, I'm fed up with this?
So to everyone who's fed up with this, I say, I get it. Me too. But that doesn't change that that's what we're living in. For the people who are saying they don't believe it, I invite you to take a tour of any of the COVID wards in the hospitals. We are building and have built massive sites outside of hospitals like Sunnybrook to tolerate and to be able to manage some of this overflow. This is not a figment of anyone's imagination. To say that it is intensely disrespectful.
Did you catch that, folks? Dr. Hill invites people to visit any of the COVID wards in the province to discover the truth.
For the people who are saying they don't believe it, I invite you to take a tour of any of the COVID wards in the hospitals.
Smashing! So I decided to take up Dr. Hill on her offer and book a tour of a COVID ward. I reached out to the OMA, and here's what their spokesman, Alex Defto, had to say, quote, Dr. Hill was speaking personally, saying she wished people could see how very sick patients are on COVID wards and how hard doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals are working to care for them. Every hospital has infection control and other policies around public and media access to their premises, and you would need to contact them directly for permission, end quote. No, Alex, she never said wished. She invited people to tour COVID wards, period, full stop.
For the people who are saying they don't believe it, I invite you to take a tour of any of the COVID wards in the hospitals.
By the way, I did reach out to Toronto's Sunnybrook Hospital to book a tour, as was suggested by Alex. I chose Sunnybrook because Dr. Hill gave this institution special mention in that interview. Oh, and guess what? I have yet to hear back from them. You know, I guess I won't be getting that tour after all. Shockers! So, what have we learned here, folks? Well, simply put, Dr. Hill is either a flagrant liar or that she was hoping nobody would actually take her up on her offer. And sorry, that was not Dr. Hill, quote, speaking personally, end quote. She said those remarks during a TV interview that was presumably viewed by thousands of people.
For the people who are saying they don't believe it, I invite you to take a tour of any of the COVID wards in the hospitals.
Bottom line, as the saying goes, physician, heal thyself. Because personally speaking, if Samantha practices medicine like she practices media relations, I think I'd rather go under the knife of Dr. Frankenstein than Dr. Hill. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, you probably heard YouTube has completely demonetized Rebel News. That's why we're making contingency plans. Please go to afteryoutube.com. That's afteryoutube.com and learn how you can continue to support Rebel News.